Today's topic, all the way from the UK, somebody sent us this blue therapy video. So basically, couples go and see a therapist and the thing is videotaped and it's couples therapy. And these people are definitely not paid actors.
Myself and my boyfriend have been going through a lot lately. This is the last leg for us. We're really hanging in our relationship. I've seen an opportunity for a social experiment, and I think that it's best we both come here and get some help.
I've been with my partner for 3 years now. Just like everyone else, we've had our ups and downs, you know, things happen. But coming to therapy with a camera for some social experiment, that's just, it's a red flag, to be fair. And now, like, she knows my perspective on this. I'd prefer we go to a church and we sit down with a pastor in a corner.
Listen, I'm gonna say this. Anybody who actually wants to successfully save their marriage or their relationship does not go on national television to air out their dirty laundry, okay? There's a reason why there's patient confidentiality between shrinks and their patients. A lot of that's very sensitive information. If it got out, it can embarrass people, affect their mental health, and it's just not good. That's one. Two, other paid actors. Just look at this as entertainment, all right?
Are they paid actors?
I went on their social medias, and the way that they're promoting these episodes, they're paid actors. Especially Paul, like, he was super reluctant to go on this show, didn't like the idea. All of a sudden, he's all on, like, Twitter, like, oh my gosh, check out the next episode. What?
Really? I didn't check that. At the end of the day, it's TV.
If you don't know that reality TV's fake, I got a bridge to sell you, brother.
My name's Denise, and I'm your therapist today. What would you like to start off with?
I love you. You do know that, right? And I...
Just when she said, so, what did you want to start off with? And then the way he positioned himself, because he went, yeah, bitch, why we here? It's like,
I mean, look at even this frame where we pause. Look at how he's staring at her. My man, I don't care if he's acting or not. This man's face is hilarious. He walks into the therapist's office with the look, yo, whose man's is this? Yo, why is this bitch in her own office?
Paul, for example, has a lot of friends. He has affluent friends. He feels like he has to fit in, which he might fit in as friendship, but when it comes to finances, he doesn't necessarily fit in. So if we're looking at percentage-wise and when they go out and what they spend, they can afford it. We can't. But Paul will do it anyway. And then he'll spend the next week or two chasing the bag he's blown, which now leaves me in a deficit of love. So there's neglect going on in our household.
Whoa. Did you mix lack of money with a deficit of love?
No. I think because he's chasing them back and he has to work so much, he can't show as much attention to her as her thing.
Thank you very much for that.
My point in all this comes back to the beginning. You just came out on the internet and called him a poser.
Yes.
You aired out his financial situation. What is you doing? He could be as bad as you want, and you could be telling the truth. Why would you tell this to the whole world? Basically emasculating him in a way. If you don't want to save your relationship, this is perfect. This is fantastic.
Yeah.
All right, so we literally just got here. Like, we haven't been here for 5 minutes. Chioma's talking about finance to the bloody Denise, someone that we don't even know. Now, first of all, there is no man that's out there with multiple accounts, crypto accounts, high interest accounts, that's gonna sit down and show his girl his balance. So she doesn't even know the financial situation first.
So hang on, let me just let Paul speak regarding the image and the going out and chasing the bag, as Chioma just said.
You know what's interesting?
I'm not going front.
Actually say eating the pum pum. Actually say being a city girl. But I mean, like, she's not from that.
Would you say that Chioma is for the streets? This reminded me of all those those suburban dads who used to be on Vine being like, hit the fams. Now watch me whip. Watch me no.
Look, Cindy, I'm on a horse. Is that horse gonna, I don't know, nay?
I actually think she's right. But let me break it down for you. I'm happy and I'm humble enough to be the brokest man in a room full of millionaires. Do you know why?
Okay.
Do you know who would have the most to benefit in that type of situation?
You would.
So that's practically how I've been able to exponentially grow my income, basically.
He's taking the whole fake it till you make it to another extent, because at the end of the day, I'm not naive to know that you are treated how you're perceived. However, be yourself. With the whole spending above your means, should I say, yes, we can afford it. I'm not saying we can't, because he's the first person to speak about finances and we need to save and we need to do this and we need to do that. But as much as, yeah, I purchase nice things, Paul does a lot of the spending. And in the past, we've had situations where he's invested and there's been no returns. So I don't feel like I need to suffer at the expense of his investing and putting himself in positions to get deals when not all the time it works out. And we're together. Do you know what I mean? We're in a relationship. We're not business partners. So I'm suffering for nothing.
Okay. Do you feel that it's an equal situation?
She just said she's suffering for nothing. Okay. So am I nothing?
That's not what I said.
That's why I disagree with him. It's like, listen to what she says. Basically, her complaint is, bruv, you're spending and you're living above your means. And she don't like that. And after that, you're doing all that, but there's no return to that. And you have to listen to that. If you're spending all that cash and all that money, that hard-earned money, and, you're not spending on her, or you're not spending on y'all. I'm not gonna say on her, but I'm saying on y'all. And then she don't see it. There's not a benefit to that. Let's say, for example, you would spend all that money, and then after that, someone would be like, hey, you know what? You're a cool dude. One of the guys that you're spending with, he's like, you're a cool dude. Let me give you this, like a trip for you and your girl to go somewhere. She would see the benefit of you spending all that. At the end of the day, she doesn't see the return of that. That's basically her complaint. Him going into the, okay, so I'm nothing. That's not even what she said. You're not even trying to hear what she said. You know what I mean?
It's like your comprehension. This is why we're here, because anytime I bring up at home, he dismisses it.
Really?
Okay, you're not comprehending what I'm saying.
Okay.
I've literally just explained it.
Yeah. Okay, look.
Out of everything I said, you got that bit. Like, Paul's, he takes what he wants to take, he hears what he wants to hear, and he sees what he wants to see.
I'm not dismissing it right now, right? We're having a conversation. I don't know you from anywhere, but you're here. Let's have the conversation, right? So
this dude, this dude's gonna talk about, I'm not dismissing you, but whatever, you're here. So yeah, which then goes into dismissing her. Yo, he's amazing.
What do we do together aside from work that is meaningful? Is that what you said?
Let me tell you what we do, right? Every 28 days, we have a couples review. Right?
Oh,
so how the couples review works is we basically, go over our individual and collective plans, goals, targets, and we kind of, make like a checkbox type of situation, and we mark stuff off, help each other out with whatever it is that we need help with, and it's worked basically in our relationship.
It hasn't worked.
So in this checkup, are you both, as they say, on the same page?
Of course.
We're on the same page as we've been. We're always on the same page, because all Paul cares about is if our finances have grown, if our savings has grown.
But when I'm confused, I thought they were in a deficit. And she was
I was confused as well. If he's concerned about if he's spending too much, how is he able to be concerned about?
She made it sound like it was financial straits. But anyways, okay. Her problem seems to not be about finances. It seems to be more about the emotional neglect. So we'll just
that's the first. Hold on, that's the first thing she brought up.
I'm gonna just keep listening. I don't know.
Paul, before you got involved with Chioma, how did you run your household?
Well, obviously, everything was self-sustainable, self-managed. However, at the end of the day, I think the question that you should be asking Chioma is, if she is getting into a relationship with a person like myself, I don't want to say bring to the table, but...
What am I bringing to the table?
No, I'm not saying that you don't bring anything to the table. I'm saying you need to let her know that there's certain things that are expected when she's receiving, a certain frequency.
Okay, so first of all, I contribute to the bills. I'm doing my own. I take care of myself. Of course, he buys me things, but I'm going out to shop for myself. I'm also taking care of the home and him. Yeah, he might do most of the finance, but I'm bringing a lot to your life, and without me, you will be in deficit. You'll be lacking some things. Okay.
All right. This is painting a full picture. This man makes a lot of money. He pays all the bills. He wanted a housewife. She does not want to be a full housewife. He wants to go to a church for counseling. She wants to go to therapy for couples counseling. They seem to be on different pages. These are things you want to discuss beforehand. If you're going to get in a relationship with somebody and you make, whatever amount of money and you want a housewife, you have to talk to your partner about that. Because if she's a career woman, she might want to stay a career woman. Chioma probably wouldn't have as many issues with doing a lot of the emotional labor at home and doing all this stuff, considering he's taking care of the bills, if she wasn't also working. But because she's working and doing this stuff, then there feels like some kind of imbalance. But at the same time, if he takes care of the vast majority of the bills, you have to ask yourself, why are you doing that 9 to 5? You can't expect him to do all that extra work, pay most of those bills, and do some of the labor at home. That's not the way it works for most people. Does that make sense what I'm saying, though?
Yeah. You're not going to turn someone into something they're not.
But people do that, though. People get in relationships hoping their partners are going to change, and they don't have important conversations about the things that matter to them. Wanting a housewife, whether or not you want kids, what kind of education, what kind of city you want to live in. These are things you should discuss with each other once you guys are starting to get serious. They should be casual conversations that you have to be like, all right, what does this person stand? Is this in complete juxtaposition with my values? If it's too important, am I willing to compromise? And if you can't say yes to willing to compromise, you should seriously start to consider whether or not you want to be in that relationship. Because last thing you want to do is intertwine your lives, get 7 or 8 years in, and then realize on the important stuff like faith, on the important stuff like where you guys want to live, if you guys aren't willing to compromise and there's an imbalance there, that could devastate a marriage. So have good dialogue, I guess.
Yeah, I get that. It's just, people don't talk about that.
No.
People really just think in their mindset that people are going to change. It's just going to give me money. They go over the signs. They go over what's been told and how the person was in the same. How the person was in the first, and they claim that the person changed most of the time, but they didn't change. They just didn't change for what you wanted to be, or for what you wanted to have. They didn't change for what you wanted to have, and then you claim you don't keep the same energy. Yeah, I do. That's the thing. Both of them are not what they eventually wanted from each other. He wanted to have a housewife. She wanted to have a man beside her all the time. And then they got into the relationship and expected that they both would change to something else. And then they claim, not claiming the same, you don't have the same energy. No, it's not that. They have the same energy. It's just that you went over that.
Let's not get confused. I work, okay? Paul does not finance me completely. Does that make sense? Yes, he earns significantly more than I do, but he doesn't finance me, all right? So if you're talking about me becoming a housewife, clearly, because you're talking about finances and me bringing something to the table, what's wrong with being a housewife? Was that the plan we had when we first met?
It's a genuine question.
I don't want to be a housewife. There's nothing wrong with it, but I don't want to be a housewife. I have a choice. Does that make sense? If I wanted to be a housewife, I would have become a housewife. That's what you keep pushing for me to do. That's not what I want to do, babe. Okay?
Denise.
He used to clean his own house and change his sheets and cook for himself. We just moved in together 6 months ago, and all of a sudden that has now become my duty and mine alone. Bearing in mind, both of us are busy.
Now, with myself, I'm an earner. Do you understand? I will go out and I will come back and I'm bringing the bacon for real. Do you understand? If that's the case, and I'm able to provide for the both of us and kids in the future from now, why would she stress herself being out, trying to earn the same thing that I already have? Sit down. Let's figure out something. I want to come home with a check and say, babe, how should we invest this?
And did you notice that things had changed once Chioma moved in?
In terms of how I behave?
You became lazy.
No. Let's.
It just comes down to there's a misunderstanding. You can't want a baller and then also expect him to come home and do the dishes. That's not the way it works. When you are starting to work high figures in those areas, that's why a lot of them get maids. That's why a lot of them pay for those things. If he wants a housewife and you want a high earner, you have to understand the odds of you getting a high earner who wants to split the home labor, that's ridiculous. If you're working...
Like both of them are at fault.
Yeah, to me, there's like, you guys are looking at each other with contempt, not realizing your inability to communicate and your inability to be pragmatic in this situation is what's causing you guys problems. Either he needs to work less and y'all split it, which he's not going to want to do, or you need to quit your job and accept the role of housewife, or option 3, you guys split. But this whole conversation is stupid.
When we first started dating, She was happy with, the drive, the ambition, me taking, calculated risk here and there and gaining rewards. She's the first person to come and, say, oh, congratulations, babe, let's celebrate together. But then I've actually kept the same energy, and now it seems like she doesn't really have the same energy. So who is the person that's falling off?
Okay, so in other words, I'm a hater.
Well,
because I still celebrate your wins.
No, that's true. But the only thing is, let me give you an example, right? So literally, I have access to a good number of private members clubs. This is through the clients of mine. I train high net worth individuals, celebrities, you name it. Now, with these...
Okay, there's so much contempt. She has a lot of contempt for him. Like, as he's talking about these high... And then he has a bad habit of, like, stonewalling her when she brings up a concern. Like, these are terrible attributes. If you're talking and your girl's rolling her eyes and sighing in front of other people, nigga, y'all got problems. Y'all got deep problems.
Membership clubs, obviously it's not everyone that's, invited. And I feel like that kind of affects Chioma. Whereas before, if we were going to like a normal type of, average, maybe not average Joe, but the usual, then I'll kind of be, oh babe, come along. But when I'm actually, grafting and chasing the bag, as she said, I don't really feel like she needs to be present, and she actually doesn't have an invite anyway, so.
Okay, that's not what I'm not upset that I'm unable to come to the events that you go to and to the gambling places, because it's gambling if you ask me. It's casino, isn't it? So the clubs you guys are going to and the money you're spending, some of it is gambling, all right? Because everything he likes to say is constructive. Clubbing is not constructive. It's not beneficial to our relationship or to him. Even places like that, he places too much emphasis on how they look at him. So you're out here doing the most, buying so many bottles, paying 10K for tables, and it doesn't make sense. And I'm at home being neglected. When he comes home, he goes back to work. So my point is, you're putting too much emphasis on the way they see you. Why is that? You're supposed to be impressing me, not them.
So the type of people that I deal with, they're on another level, to be fair. They're high net worth and they work really hard for themselves. Now, for me to be able to kind of be that act of service for them, you can imagine how hard I have to work. If they're calling you, you need to answer. If they're sending you a message, whether it's a text or WhatsApp, listen, you need to be on point. I'm able to give them that service.
Listen, sometimes you're going to meet people who are workaholics. If they were that way when you met them, and then y'all start dating and get together and they still are like that, that's on you, boo-boo. Now, if it's a switch up, that's a different concern. But this idea that you're going to date someone and they're going to start to pay more attention to you, like, listen, people who work 60, 70, 80 hours a week, they're gone. It affects the family, it affects the siblings, it affects everyone negatively because of their constant work ethic. But that's what they want to do. So you have to ask yourself, I want to be with somebody who makes that much money, but I don't like what it takes for that person to make that much money. Well, that's one of the realities of that line of work. People are going to have to travel a lot in some situations. People are going to have to work long, long hours. And when they come home, they're too tired to take you anywhere, right? You guys have a higher quality of life in some ways, but you might be neglected in that process. I'm not saying you should have to accept that. What I'm trying to say is, maybe this isn't the person for you if you don't like how much they have to invest in what they want to be doing. That's all.
Yeah, but there's balance. There's balance. I understand what you're saying, and you're right. You're absolutely right. Like right there. Like I say when I do conferences, like I got two phones. I got the iWatch. I got the computer. I work right now. I'm working at this time where I could be spending some time with other people. But when I spend time with those people, I turn all that shit off because I'm not working. So there's always a balance that you have to have when you're working a lot, when you don't have a conventional 9 to 5 where you clock in at 9, you get off at 5, and then everything after that is all your time. You have to make free time for the people that are not part of that world, that are not that. I'm all about show business and all the things I do, but at some point I gotta take care of the people that are not part of that business. Now, I've always been that way and working a whole lot, so there hasn't been a switch up. That's where I agree with you. So if it's a switch up, it's a different thing.
But even yours is more balanced. When you're talking about people who work 80, 90-hour weeks, that's not me and you. You know what I mean? Like, there are YouTubers who work way more than we do. They work crazy amounts and their families take a hit. I'm not saying it's a good thing. I'm not saying something you should commend. I'm not saying they have a good balance. I'm saying they don't want balance. They just want to be invested in their work. So if you come into that person's life knowing what it's like for them, then that's on you at some point. You dig what I'm saying?
Don't be surprised if what you got is what you got.
Here's an example. If she's a career woman and you want to turn her into a housewife,
she's going to be a career woman, and that's fine. That's okay to be a career woman, but don't be mad if she works all the time. That's her thing.
Exactly.
And she should be working all the time if that's her thing. You know?
Exactly. So you know what I mean? If a man came to me and was like, oh, man, she doesn't want to be a housewife. Well, did you guys have that conversation before? What did she say she was going to do? What did y'all agree on? Probably a conversation you had before. But anyways.
Just for the record, how would you like him to change?
At the end of the day, I like his drive, and that's kind of why we're together. My point is, there needs to be a balance. I'm happy for you to grind.
See what I'm saying? So a lot of people like what success looks like. They don't like what it takes for some people to get there. Right? The idea of a high value man, 6-figure, all this, it sounds good esoterically speaking. But in terms of having stability and balance, it's not practical for most people. It's really not. Because the person could be traveling all the time. They could be working extended hours. They could be in environments that you're not fond of. Their mental health could take a hold. They don't have time or energy to take you out. To think that they can do both all the time, that's ridiculous. And that's why I realize a lot of people like the finished product. They don't like the process.
But again, we're in a relationship. The problem with you is you think we're business partners. We're not. I need love as well. Do you know what I mean? Like, I've got a business, I work, but I still feed you, I still love on you, but I don't get, it's not reciprocated.
I guarantee she doesn't make nearly as much as him. Guarantee.
So hang on, Paul, do you feel that you're giving as good as you get in the love stakes?
Well, to be fair, I thought I did, but now I'm thinking to myself, like, does she trust, do you trust me?
We were rooting for you, boo. We were.
This is what I talk about, the stonewalling. She brings something up, either this man shuts down or he diverts it somewhere else. Like you can't do that. You gotta, if I say hello, you shouldn't say what's in your bank account. It should be like, we start a conversation, right?
Yeah.
Let's have some sequences. This is really weird.
What?
Yes or no?
I do trust you.
Okay. If you trust me and you trust my judgment and you know that between the both of us, we both got ourselves to the position where we are, which is a better position than we were in, why would you not continue to trust the process?
Because you've eradicated the whole love aspect of our relationship. I'm a woman, I'm not wood. Do you understand? Like, I've got a heart.
Now, this is the problem that I have with women, right? Like, for example, with Chioma and I, when we first started, she knows I'm hardworking. I was doing XYZ, what I had to do, okay? Everything was fine. She was happy, I've got a hardworking guy, okay, hug, kiss, okay, cool. Nowadays, when I'm coming back late, the same person's complaining, asking me where am I coming from? And I'm thinking, what? Fair enough, I don't work overtime and I'm doing other things on a different level, but I'm the same person, so why would you question it?
Can I just ask, what's the last loving thing you did for
Denise?
Yeah, Denise.
Look, we're not gonna play the whole turn each other against each other. When's the last time you bought flowers? Look, forget about all of that. Let's get down to what it is now. Just to briefly go over this, right?
Why did you bring this man to therapy? This is the worst platform to bring this person on.
As far as I understand, you've been called, or employed rather, to basically help us in our relationship to get better, right? Okay. So, how do you think you're doing so far?
Okay, first, don't be rude.
You know what he reminds me of?
Of a girl you used to know?
My mom always thinks contractors are trying to scam her. I have never gotten my mom a telephone provider, internet provider, plumber, and she doesn't like read the contract, look at the billable hours. He was only here 8 hours. Why does it say 10? I was like, because he traveled here an hour and then you have to cover. No. He's stealing money from us. It's that same African energy where it's just like, you're not going to scam me. That's what I'm getting from here. The only difference is my mom would smile at you, and the moment you exit the door, she's like, go, call his boss.
Your mom's a G.
My mom does not play. She's not getting played.
I don't even know that woman. I like that woman. I've seen that woman one time. That woman, she's G.
Yeah. She'll be like this. Labor, which means it means thief in my language.
Each what? It means what?
Thief.
Labor?
Yeah.
It's crazy because you're paying for labor.
Boom.
No, it's a genuine question.
That's uncalled for.
It's a genuine question.
Okay, I can answer that, Chioma, don't worry. The fact is that I'm here to enable you to see through the fog that may be there at the moment. I'm not here to give you an answer. I'm just helping you discover what's going on.
Okay. What's your success rate in terms of like couples that have been to your therapy sessions and have gone on to get married?
Well, I think you've already done your research.
I did research and I found out that a lot of people gave you good reviews. A lot of them have actually gone on to get married. A lot of them have resolved their situation. Be open-minded. I feel like people get results from you if they're open-minded.
Babe, she didn't answer the question. What's your success rate? I need percentages. I deal with figures.
I'm afraid I don't work in figures.
Did this man just snap at her? Bruh.
Let's go. You know what? Snappy. I need some figures, numbers, yeah? Percentages, yeah? Give me that, yeah? You're not there. I need to see it.
Paul, is you dizzy, blood? Is you dizzy?
I work in people, and when people come back, it's because they're seeing results. So as far as I'm concerned...
This is interesting to see a white lady be so calm with a black version of a Karen. When he was asking for the numbers, it was basically like, can I speak to your manager? And she's like, listen, excuse me, sir. Excuse me, Jamal. I'm going to need you to just tone down the energy a little bit. The reason why things are like this, numbers. Can I speak to your manager? It's interesting the reverse of a white lady being this calm.
Things are working.
So if we came back to your session, that means it's working.
Well, you sign up for a certain number of sessions.
See, this man thinks it's a scam. You see what I'm talking about? This man, So if we sign up to a certain number of sessions, you're going to make how much money?
If we're both kind of in line in terms of our goals and our visions, then I would assume that we'd both basically be on the same page. Is that wrong, Denise?
No, it's good when couples are on the same page, but are you on the same page?
Are you Oscar?
I'm asking both of you, do you think you're on the same page?
I feel as though we are on the same page with certain things, but again, as much as Paul says I like to nag, he has a lot of issues with things that I do.
So Paul, just give me a little bit of your background. What business are you in?
Yes.
Whoa!
Yo, listen, as much as I rag on her for trying to bring you here when you didn't want to come, if you were going to put forth this kind of effort, bro, why did you come?
Oh, man.
Bruh.
Wow.
That's funny.
Bro, stay home next time.
Yeah, answer the question, babe.
So what does my business have to do with the relationship? Just asking.
I just wondered, whether that was influencing the way that you
provider.
deal with life. Sorry?
I'm a provider.
What is it that you do? I don't understand. Just
Well, I don't see how this is going to help our relationship in the long term. This is the problem that I have, right? Look, with this Denise lady, I just feel like she's just asking lots of intrusive questions that doesn't really relate to the situation at hand. She's asking me, what do I do? Like, I make money. That's what I do. Like, it's a silly question. What do you want from me? Do you understand? You're here for a certain purpose to help with the relationship. Do that.
Do you do anything together? Any, hobbies that you do together?
aside from on our laptops in the same room, maybe. When we started dating, we used to like the same music. He was more fun. Now I don't even know who's sitting next to me, to be honest.
And how do you feel?
I think that's BS.
It's BS.
Look, music. I'm a Burna Boy fan. You used to be, but now you're
I still
more
like Burna Boy.
Wizkid. Like, that doesn't make sense. If you like something, just stick to,
That's funny.
Yo, the art of arguing about shit that don't matter.
That's funny.
The art of arguing.
But I rate the conversation. How you gonna drop Burna Boy for Wizkid? That's crazy, bro. I mean, I rate him, but not above Burna. But still.
She never said it was above Burna.
No, she said she still likes him, but she prefers Wizkid now, which I thought was funny. I think it's his way of saying you're the one who's changed. If you don't know me, it's because you've become
My girl likes some shit that I don't like. And it's okay.
So that was the end of episode 1.
We was a bit petty with this shit. Let's be honest with that. Okay.
Hey, listen, I'm always going to side with brothers who look like they're from the Nation of Islam. You feel me? Like, I got to show love.
Yeah, you like them Otep niggas.
No tep, hotep. It just seems like for the both of them, they have different views of what they want from each other, and they're not practical about it. So that's what I get.
The expectations. They're really keeping expectations that were not there in the beginning. Trying to hold on to things that you wish happened on the other person. Listen, you get with me and you wish for someone that's going to grow a beard. It's not going to happen. Okay? That's not what I want. That's not what I am. That's not what I will be. I can't.
That's why you have those conversations, you know. You're dating someone, you're like, yo, would you be willing to be a housewife? And if you lost your job, would you mind if I take a job and you have to be home with the kids? You know, like, have those conversations to find out where you guys stand. Ask yourself, do you even want kids?
This conversation is stupid.
They're not. They're really not. And especially about stuff that's really important. You know, like, I consider whether or not you want a career pretty important. Do you want kids? Very important. If faith matters to either party, have that conversation. I'm not a religious person. If I was dating someone who was, they would have to make some concessions, because I'm just not going to sit in church and start going, Shemina Shaya. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. But, you know, if you want to baptize the kids, like, I don't care. Dump them in holy water. Make them take a bath in it. I don't give a fuck. But we have to have that conversation. If we don't, then of course later down the line, you're going to be devastated when you find out that I don't want to go to church with you every Sunday, because you were expecting that when we got married that was going to happen, but we never talked about it, right? So it's good to talk about these things to find out where the other one's side, so that later on you're not blindsided and then you feel betrayed. What betrayed you wasn't your partner. What betrayed you was your own expectations. But you built expectations without knowledge.
And after that, you resent the person for the expectations that you had but never spoke about, and you really just wish for. It's the same thing as just believing in astrology.
You know what it's like, bro? It's like when you buy a house but you don't pay for an inspection. Then you get plumbing problems later and you're like, bitch, who told you to not have an inspection done before you made a purchase on a home? Feel me? So there's a certain level of negligence that people have going into these conversations. They don't even think about what's important. And you're seeing it now blow up in their faces when reality doesn't match expectations. So talk about it. Talk about it with the people you date. It's not corny. It doesn't make you look crazy or clingy. And if someone thinks that you are being that way because you ask those questions, probably a good idea to consider whether or not you want to date that person seriously. A relationship is a huge investment. A marriage is an even bigger one. What person do you know that's going to purchase a company without doing a full-on research on the company's history, without asking a bunch of questions about what type of company it is? Does it have any issues with tax problems? When I buy this, am I taking on debt? Like, you should know all of that before you purchase it. It should be the same thing. That's why I tell people this whole talk about love, that's secondary. That's the easier stuff. The things that people neglect that lead to divorces are the stuff that folks never talk about.
They never talk about it, and they just expect for the best. They hope for the best.
Yeah.
It's really not, a relationship is really not hoping for the best. It's discussing a lot of things. That's why it's a lot of concession, a lot of discussion, a lot of things that are hard, you know, having discussion, but people are not willing to have that. They're just willing, they're just hoping for the best, and then they're dashing out when things are not working. Well,
so that's kind of what I gathered from watching this, but maybe you guys felt differently when you watched it. What did you think about this couple and this issue? If you guys liked today's video, if you guys want us to do a part 2, be sure to like it. All right, like it right now, comment. But yeah, we'll be covering the other couple from the episode. What do you think about everything?
I said what I said. You said what you said. I think if I'd say more, it'd be more redundant. It's really that. People get into a relationship, they don't talk about anything, and they just hope for the best.